Welcome back to our English Learning Podcast. Today we are diving into a topic that almost everyone can relate to: online shopping. It is convenient, it is fast, and it has completely changed the way people buy things.
Yes, Alex, think about it. Just a few years ago, people had to spend hours going from shop to shop. Now, with just one click, you can buy clothes, food, books, and even furniture. It feels like the world is in your pocket.
That is so true, Mia. And here's why today is important for our listeners. Online shopping is not just a daily activity. It is also a popular IELTS topic. Many students are asked to discuss online shopping in their speaking or writing test.
Exactly. And if you know the right vocabulary, idioms, and expressions, you can stand out and score higher in IELTS. That is what we will focus on in this episode. We will give you natural conversation plus useful phrases you can use in the IELTS exam.
So if you are preparing for IELTS or just want to improve your English fluency, stay with us. By the end of this episode, you will feel confident talking about online shopping in any situation.
All right, Alex, let us start simple. What comes to your mind when you hear the words online shopping?
The first thing that comes to mind is convenience. Online shopping saves time and effort. You can shop from the comfort of your home. And here's a useful idiom: shop till you drop. It means shopping for a long time until you are very tired.
Nice one. For example, I can say, last weekend I went online and I almost shopped till I dropped because there were so many sales.
Perfect. And another useful phrase is window shopping. It usually means looking at things in a store without buying them. But today, people also do online window shopping. They browse products but do not make a purchase.
That is a good one for IELTS Speaking Part 1. Imagine the examiner asks, do you prefer online shopping or shopping in stores? You can say, sometimes I do online window shopping, but when I really want to buy clothes, I prefer the physical store.
Exactly, Mia. Now let's give the listeners some IELTS-style practice. I will ask you a question. Do you often shop online?
Yes, I often shop online, especially for books and clothes. It saves me time and usually the prices are better. However, sometimes the products look different from the pictures, so there are both advantages and disadvantages.
Great answer. You used contrast words like however and advantages, disadvantages. That is exactly what IELTS examiners want to hear.
Now, Alex, here is another idiom for our listeners. A steal. When something is very cheap, we say it's a steal. For example, I bought a jacket online for half price. It was a steal.
Good one. And here's a phrase people use all the time: add to cart. This means selecting a product to buy later. In IELTS Speaking Part 1, you might say, I often add things to my cart, but then I change my mind.
That is so relatable. I think everyone has added to cart and then abandoned it.
Yes, Mia. Abandoned cart is another business term. Many online shops struggle with abandoned carts. Customers choose items but do not finish the purchase.
This could also be a great point in IELTS writing test too. If the topic is about technology and shopping, you can mention how online businesses face challenges like abandoned carts.
Perfect connection. All right, before we continue, let's quickly review the useful phrases we have introduced so far. Shop till you drop, window shopping, a steal, add to cart, abandoned cart.
Yes, listeners, remember these phrases. They can make your IELTS answers sound more natural and fluent.
And don't worry, we will keep adding more idioms and expressions as we continue our conversation about online shopping.
Great. Now let's move into the advantages of online shopping. So, Alex, we said online shopping is convenient. Let us go deeper. What are the main advantages that IELTS candidates should mention?
Good question, Mia. I would say the first big advantage is convenience. You can shop anytime, 24/7. That phrase, 24/7, means all the time with no break. For IELTS, it is a good phrase to show fluency.
Yes. For example, I can say,
One advantage of online shopping is that it is available 24/7. I can buy something at midnight if I want.
Perfect. Another advantage is variety. Online stores usually have a wider range of products compared to physical shops. You can find international brands or rare items that are not available in your local market.
That is very true. I once bought a handmade bag from a seller in another country. It was impossible to find in my city. That shows how online shopping connects people globally.
Excellent point, Mia. Global access is another advantage. For IELTS Writing Task 2, if the question asks about technology and shopping, you can write that online platforms allow global access to goods and services.
Now, let us add some idioms. How about the phrase bang for your buck? It means getting good value for the money you spend. For example, when I shop online during sales, I feel like I get more bang for my buck.
Nice one. Another phrase is to tighten your belt. It means to spend less money because you want to save. For example, some people tighten their belt by shopping online because prices are often lower.
That is a useful phrase for IELTS. Examiners love when students use idiomatic language naturally.
All right, we have covered some advantages. Now let us balance it with disadvantages. What do you think, Mia?
Well, the first disadvantage is that you cannot physically see or touch the product. Sometimes the item looks amazing in the photo, but in real life, it is disappointing. There's even a funny phrase for this. What you see is not what you get.
Yes, that happens a lot. Another disadvantage is delivery delays. Sometimes packages take weeks to arrive, especially if they're from overseas. For IELTS, you can say delivery times can be unpredictable, which makes online shopping less reliable.
I agree. And then there's the issue of security. People worry about giving their credit card details online. Cybercrime is a big concern these days.
Good point, Mia. If IELTS candidates mention cybercrime or online scams in their answers, it shows advanced vocabulary. For example, I might say, one disadvantage of online shopping is the risk of scams and fraud, which makes some customers hesitant to shop online.
That is very formal and perfect for IELTS writing. Now, let us do a role play answer like an IELTS Speaking Part 2. Alex, you ask me a question and I will try to give a balanced answer.
Okay. Here's the question. Do you think online shopping is better than shopping in stores?
I think online shopping is better in many ways because it is more convenient and it saves time. For example, I can buy products anytime, even at midnight. It also gives me more choices and sometimes better prices. However, there are disadvantages too. Sometimes the quality does not match the photos and delivery can take a long time. So overall, both have benefits, but I personally prefer online shopping.
Brilliant answer, Mia. You used linking words like for example, however, and so overall. Those make the answer sound well organized, which is exactly what IELTS examiners are looking for.
Thanks, Alex. And I also included personal experience, which is very important in IELTS speaking.
Exactly. Sharing personal stories makes your answer more natural.
Okay, let us quickly recap the advantages and disadvantages.
Advantages: convenience, 24/7 availability, variety, global access, and better bang for your buck.
Disadvantages: cannot see the product, delivery delays, and the risk of scams or fraud.
And the idioms we added: tighten your belt, bang for your buck, and what you see is not what you get.
These idioms will make your IELTS answers shine.
Yes, and in the next part, we will focus on IELTS Writing Task 2. We will show how to write an essay about online shopping with strong vocabulary and clear structure.
That will be very useful because many students find writing the hardest part.
Stay with us, listeners. You will not want to miss it.
Welcome back. In this part, we're going to focus on IELTS Writing Task 2. This is the essay question section where you must give a clear argument with examples.
Yes, Mia. And online shopping is a very popular writing topic. A common question is something like, some people prefer online shopping, while others enjoy traditional shopping in stores. Discuss both views and give your opinion.
That sounds familiar. Many of my students panic when they see a question like that. But it is not so difficult if you know the structure.
Exactly. Let us break it down. In IELTS Writing Task 2, you should always write an introduction, body paragraphs, and a conclusion.
For the introduction, keep it simple. Paraphrase the question and state your opinion. For example, nowadays, online shopping has become increasingly popular. While some people believe it is more convenient, others think shopping in stores is better. In my opinion, online shopping has more advantages than disadvantages.
That is clear and to the point. Now, the first body paragraph should explain why people like online shopping. You could write that it saves time, offers more variety, and is available 24/7.
Yes, and you can support your points with examples. For instance, many busy professionals shop online because they do not have time to visit physical stores. That shows how online shopping meets the needs of modern lifestyles.
Exactly. And the second body paragraph should explain the other side. Why do people still prefer traditional shopping? You could write that in physical stores, you can see and touch the products. You also get the shopping experience with friends, which is more social.
I like that. And then the conclusion should summarize both sides and clearly restate your opinion. For example, you might say, in conclusion, while traditional shopping allows people to see products directly, online shopping is more convenient and time-saving. Therefore, I believe online shopping is the better choice.
That is perfect. Remember, listeners, in IELTS Writing Task 2, you are not just judged on grammar. You are judged on how you organize your ideas and whether you use a wide range of vocabulary.
Yes, that is why idioms and advanced phrases can help, but you must use them naturally. For example, instead of saying online shopping is cheap, you can say online shopping gives you more bang for your buck.
Good one. Or instead of saying people save money, you could say many people tighten their belt by shopping online. That shows idiomatic knowledge and improves your score for lexical resource.
Here's another advanced phrase. Double-edged sword. It means something has both positive and negative sides. For example, online shopping is a double-edged sword. It's convenient, but it also increases the risk of cybercrime.
Excellent example, Mia. Using double-edged sword in IELTS writing will really impress the examiner.
Now, Alex, let us do a sample paragraph with these idioms.
Okay, here's one. Online shopping has become a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it allows customers to shop 24/7 and often gives them more bang for their buck. On the other hand, people cannot always check the quality before buying, and sometimes what you see is not what you get.
That is brilliant. Notice, listeners, how the idioms fit naturally into the writing style. That is the key. Do not force idioms. Use them when they make sense.
Exactly. And remember to always support your points with examples. If you just list advantages and disadvantages without explanation, your score will be lower.
Yes. For example, if you write online shopping saves time, you should add a reason. You can say online shopping saves time because people do not need to travel to physical stores. That makes the idea clear.
Another IELTS tip: avoid repeating the same word too often. Instead of always saying buy, you can use purchase. Instead of saying good, you can say beneficial.
Yes, synonyms are very important. The examiner wants to see variety.
All right, Mia, let us quickly recap what we covered in this part.
We showed how to structure an IELTS Task 2 essay on online shopping. Introduction, body paragraphs, and conclusion.
We added idioms like bang for your buck, tighten your belt, what you see is not what you get, and double-edged sword.
And we reminded listeners to use examples and synonyms for higher scores.
In the next part, we will move into IELTS Speaking Part 3. That's the discussion section, where examiners ask more difficult and abstract questions about online shopping.
Yes, that will really prepare our listeners to think critically and give longer answers.
Stay tuned, listeners. The best tips are coming up.
Asking about alone. Part 4. IELTS Speaking Part 3 and Closing. Welcome back, everyone. This is the final part of our podcast on online shopping. Now we will focus on IELTS Speaking Part 3. This is the section where the examiner asks deeper questions about society and trends.
Yes, Mia. In Part 3, the questions are more abstract. They test your ability to discuss ideas, not just personal habits. So, let us practice. I will ask you a typical IELTS-style question. Do you think online shopping will completely replace traditional shopping in the future?
That is a big question. I would say no. Online shopping is growing rapidly, and it has many advantages like convenience and variety. But traditional shopping has social value. People enjoy going out with friends and experiencing the atmosphere of stores. So I believe both will exist side by side.
Excellent answer, Mia. You gave balance, you used future tense, and you expressed an opinion clearly. That is exactly what examiners want in Part 3.
Thanks, Alex. Let us give our listeners some more idioms and advanced phrases for this type of question.
Good idea. One useful phrase is face-to-face interaction. In IELTS, you might say traditional shopping gives more face-to-face interaction, which is important for building relationships.
Nice. Another phrase is brick and mortar stores. This means physical stores compared to online platforms. For example, some people still prefer brick and mortar stores because they can try products before buying.
That is a strong expression. Another idiom is the best of both worlds. It means enjoying two different advantages at the same time. You could say modern customers want the best of both worlds. They enjoy the convenience of online shopping and the experience of physical stores.
That is great. Here's another. To keep up with the times. It means to stay modern and not fall behind. For example, many traditional shops now use apps to keep up with the times.
Excellent. Now, Mia, let me ask you another IELTS-style question. How has online shopping affected local businesses?
Well, in my opinion, online shopping has put pressure on small local shops. Many people now buy from big online companies instead of visiting nearby stores. This can hurt local economies. However, some small shops have adapted by selling products online too. So again, it's a double-edged sword.
Brilliant answer, Mia. You used a balanced view and the idiom double-edged sword. That will definitely impress an examiner.
Thank you, Alex. Now, I have a question for you. Do you think online shopping is good for the environment?
That's interesting. On the one hand, online shopping can reduce pollution because people do not drive to stores as often. On the other hand, packaging waste and delivery trucks can harm the environment. So it's not black and white. That idiom, not black and white, means it's not a simple issue.
I like that. And IELTS examiners love when you show that issues are complex.
Yes, exactly. And don't forget, listeners, you can always use linking expressions, like on the one hand and on the other hand. These make your answers more organized and academic.
Absolutely. Now, before we close, let us quickly review the main vocabulary and idioms we have learned in this episode.
We started with everyday phrases like shop till you drop, window shopping, add to cart, and abandoned cart.
Then we added idioms like a steal, bang for your buck, tighten your belt, and what you see is not what you get.
In the writing section, we used double-edged sword, and we practiced structuring essays.
And in the speaking part 3, we introduced brick and mortar stores, face-to-face interaction, the best of both worlds, keep up with the times, and not black and white.
That is a treasure chest of useful English.
Yes, it is. And listeners, remember, this is not just vocabulary. This is vocabulary that you can directly use in IELTS speaking and writing.
Exactly. And if you keep practicing with us, you will not only prepare for IELTS, but also improve your English for real-life conversations.
All right, Alex, it is time to wrap up.
Yes, Mia. So to all our listeners, if you enjoyed today's podcast, please share it with friends who are also learning English. We noticed many people listen, but do not comment or like. Your feedback really inspires us to keep creating these long podcasts for you.
Yes, we need your support. Comment your favorite idiom from today's episode. That way, you practice writing in English and also help us stay motivated.
Great idea, Mia. And remember, listeners, online shopping is not just a modern trend. It's also a perfect topic for IELTS. So review the idioms, expressions, and tips we shared.
We believe in you. Keep practicing, stay motivated, and soon you will be fluent and confident in English.
Thank you for joining us today.
See you in the next episode.
Goodbye, everyone.